Hi, I'm Sid Dobrin. This video addresses the visual analysis project that asks students to analyze the visual that depicts the two Aboriginal boys. This assignment is straightforward in that it asks students to use the analytical approaches discussed in the chapter to analyze the included photo and then to express their analysis in writing. Talk with your students about the varieties of approaches they might take in analyzing this image. Using direct analysis, they may want to talk specifically about what they see in the image. Using indirect analysis, they may want to address how they interpret what they see and why, and in particular, what they assume about the picture and why. For example, do they make cultural assumptions about the boys in the picture? How do they get to those assumptions? Ask your students what might happen if they look at the picture asking what lies outside of the picture frame. Are the boys dressed for a school play in Detroit, or have they been given a magazine in the Australian outback? That isn't to say they should create a narrative of what the picture might represent, but should use the evidence of the picture to perform the analysis. Likewise, visual rhetorical analysis might lead to questions about things like body language, costuming, color, framing, and the likes. Once students begin to see the variety of methods through which they might analyze the image, discuss with them how they might use these different analytical approaches to synthesize the different results of their analysis into a more dynamic and cohesive response. Remind them that identifying the various components through the analysis is only part of the task. They must think through and show the relationships between the various parts. As to assessing the visual analysis, you should be able to use the assessment rubric I've included. With this assignment, be sure to emphasize the rhetorical knowledge part of the rubric, not just the rhetoric that students are sure to convey their analysis, but in using rhetoric as a tool for analyzing the image. That portion of the rubric associated with critical thinking is also valuable emphasis when addressing with students how you will assess their analysis. Given that I've suggested here some collaborative aspects to this assignment might work, you should also consider talking with students about the process aspects of the assessment rubric. That is, use the collaborative moments to help students identify where that collaboration fits in their process, and then show them how you will use the rubric to assess the use of their process. Thanks for using writing situations, and thanks for watching.